Alright guys, so today we are going to be using melee weapons simply just to test things out because melee in this game seems to be like a ideal way of actually just defeating enemy alongside with your OP skills, EX skills and whatnot. So I wanted to explore the 7 melee weapon category to see which one is actually more ideal, more practical, and easier to use in combat. So like I said again, there are a total of 7 of these classifications. So let me see if I can, okay, there you go. So we have saber, axe, great sword, lance, whip, the twin blade, and then melee. So we are gonna go through every single one of them, try other combos, and see which one actually works out the best. I believe the in-game does actually have a little bit of an explanation of what every single one actually does, but I don't think they went in depth to actually show off like the actual I think they did, but I would definitely say reading it then seeing it visually, they don't necessarily always connect. So gonna first try out with the saber. So I do have it on the right hand obviously, so it's gonna be my right click on my mouse. So it's just gonna be a few clicks like this, 1 2 3 4 5, yeah, just 5 hits. So that's pretty simple. To get the big, so this one is a small attack, so to get the big attack I simply hold down my right click and that's it. So that's just the basic lash. You see the big, a lot more damage obviously. So single is that, right? A whole chain would be a lot more damage, but this one you get a bigger damage in a short succession. And to get the aerials, what you would do, you would simply use your ASD key and just use the W and get them up in the air. So what else you can do with this, you can actually knock them down as well. So once I get them in the air, I simply just have to click on the W key again and then it will land. So essentially we are doing 3 big. So first one is going to be starting in the aerial, and then the other one is going to hold again. Come on. Come on. Okay, let's try this again. We did it one time. So let me reset real quick. Okay. Yeah, it takes a little bit to actually get it mastered. So you do this, right? And 1, 2. Come on. Yeah, there you go. But we missed. So essentially there should be, if you do it correctly, it's gonna look like 3 big attacks at 1 and then bam. Yeah, so it's gonna look just like that. In actual combat, I do find this to be harder to use depending on how the situation is. Normally I do have it in the air and then I just do the regular, just the 5 basic attack, and that's kind of it. Because as you are holding it down, sometimes it doesn't work out. So I think ideally speaking, if you are to do the aerial, it's just gonna be just continue on with the change. So that's how I feel like. And saber to me has been one of the easier one to use. So I think so thus far I feel like having a saber of any sort is gonna be a great melee weapon just to use in general. Alright, so now moving to the melee, so your fist. So how the fist actually works, you can only equip one. By equipping one, you are essentially equipping on both hands already. So that's the interesting things about that. So the melee, the fist, and the great sword are the only 2 that you can only equip one of them, and it's gonna be effective for both sides. So how this one actually works, the left click is going to be the small attack, so it's just going to be like that, a few simple chain, and that's kind of it. To do the consecutive fist, what you're gonna do, you're gonna do 2 basic hit, so 1 2, and then you're gonna keep holding, and then you're gonna have that. So again, 1 2, bam 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 bam. So pretty simple enough. And this one, it does give you a fairly good hit rate. Honestly, it's not bad, but from what I have seen, just using it in combat isn't necessarily that good. So I think what I'll do in a separate video, I'll be trying it out every single one of these weapons in combat, and then at that point we will probably have a better idea. But let's kind of keep going. In terms of using the big, it's just going to be the right key. So every single one of these hits are going to be big, and then finish things off with just a grand kick. So it's kind of like your common rider kick in a way, just your basic aerial kicking down. So an interesting thing about this one, let's reset our position. You can actually do this, so you're standing still, right? You can actually hold the left key, and then you can actually grand slam them. This is cool, alright? This is neat. So you do this, bam. And then if you just walk up to them and then you do this, it's simply just gonna be an aerial kick without grabbing them. So you have two different options. I think this one is cool. This one is actually easier, right? That's cool. So let's say if you are already in the air, can you still do it? Yeah, if you are in the air, yeah. But if you are in the air, for example, you cannot just click. You still have to hold W and then you can do the slam. So I think this one overall is easier and it does have a pretty impactful damage. At least you knock them down. That's the important part. You knock them down, they can't do anything to you. So this one looking pretty good so far. Moving on, we have the lance. So the lance pretty much does the same thing. So let's kind of start things off with the basic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So the finishing blow is the one that thrushes into the enemy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So 6 hit for this one. So let me reset the map first. Okay, yeah, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unfortunately, I love the lance. That's kind of my favorite. But you guys can see the attack animation is slow. So when you do need to continue your hit combo, this may not be the most ideal weapon. And same thing as the melee, like the fist, you can actually do the stabby stab as well. So how this one actually works is going to be this 1, 2, and then hold. Yeah, so just 1, 2, stab, 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 stab. Yep. 1, 2, stab, 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 stab. That looks cool. And this one does not have great aerials actually. Can I even get this enemy into the area? Yeah, there you go. So the whole attack, which is the heavy, is just how we saw it. So we have it like that. Yeah, that's cool. That is really cool. Boom. So do you ever want to have the enemy out like that, strength them out like that? I don't think so. But what's cool about the lance is you actually can get a great range. So you guys can see I'm like right here. Normally if I see an enemy or from this range, I use this and I usually hit them. So I like the lance for a reason why, because of the coverage it gets you. So let's say I'm out here, this far. You can see the distance is quite far. Oh, not that. Yeah, it's gonna reach, so that's why the lance to me is good for the coverage, but anything that's aerial, I don't think it's gonna be that great. So unfortunately, that's the downfall of this weapon. Oh, yeah, just slow in general. Up next, we are gonna be taking a look at the Twin Blade. So Twin Blade is quite interesting. So this is what we have just here for your basic. It's kind of like a trolley effects at the end, but when you start holding your, you hold your right key, this is what you have. So this is what everyone loves because this thing actually does a lot of good control, so not bad. There are various different way of actually doing this. So let's say you do this and they can start holding this one. So this one is kind of like a slower one and lower damage, so I will not probably do this one. The other one is just doing this, kind of walking up to the enemy and you start holding this. This one is a faster one. And this one is actually dealing more damage, so this one is definitely the one that's preferable to a lot of people. And you just kind of slam them into like a building or like a structure and you pin them down, start racking up your bonuses, and that's pretty good. The only downside thing is that this one does not do a lot of damage, so in return you're not really breaking the enemy. So you do have great hit bonus, but your break meters, yeah, probably not going to be the best in that. So other than that, I don't think there's that much to talk about. Yeah, so there's nothing in area, so I'm just doing like a few hits. Yeah, I think once you come in contact with an enemy, so let's say I'm up here, right? So 1, 2, yeah, no, you don't have to. So you can kind of do it however you want. So just do your one, hold up, let me do it 4 out here. So you do 1, 2, 3, yeah. So you can do it anywhere, just your helicopter. This one is obviously faster, the speedier one. The other one is really slow. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Okay. Next, we are going to be testing out the axe. So the axe, same thing. Yep, pretty slow, but heavy attack obviously. So that's the combo right there. So axe probably has one of the higher stats in the game, but there are a lot of down slash factor to it. So let's see how this one does. So you have this charge up attack. You can charge up to, I think, how many color did we see? That's a lot of damage right there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can charge it up 4 times, but I don't. You guys let me know when you will ever use that. I don't know. I genuinely don't know when I will ever use that charge attack. Like, you're sitting here for like a few seconds, you're losing out on your attack gauge, your bricks gauge or whatever. I don't know. You guys let me know. Like, when would you ever use this? I have no idea. So let's see. Nothing. So I'm trying to do like a 1-2 hole. So you got nothing on there because by the time you hold, you're charging up this already. So no thanks. There is actually, is there like an aerial? Yes, there is an aerial. So the aerials, you don't really need to do anything. So simply you're up in the air, you just hold on your right key. That's pretty much it. You can do it being idle, so you don't have to hold your W like the other one. Oh, you don't want to hold your W. So in order to get that slam attack, what you want to do, let's say if you are in the air, you simply just smack on your right key, and that's kind of it. Pretty cool. I think the only thing I like about this one is how easy it is to get up this Grand Slam compared to the Saber. So that's the only thing I like about it. Let's see how good the arrows attack are. Not a lot of good vertical attack, obviously, because of how short the range is, but there you guys have it. Okay, so up next, moving to the whip. So the whip is simply just like that. You just have like a really long, wide area. So kind of good if you want to get, you know, a lot of enemies. Usually, when you are starting any stages, actually does have a lot of enemies. So this one is good. Another thing you can do with the whip, you can actually draw your enemies in. So let's say I'm right over here, you can just grab them from there. So this is actually pretty cool if you want to grab them. Honestly, it could be effective. There is another thing you can do. So this one is not something you can do while idle. You have to kind of move like this. So essentially it's just the normal attack pattern, but what you guys can see, if you guys continuously walk forward, it's gonna give you that twirly effect. So if you are up in the air, something like this, so you can actually just do this, and you can probably get the enemy as well, right? Come on. Nope, it's not working. Nope. So I would assume you have to have an enemy first, and then you can do that. So that's cool. So that's kind of like a good area attack, if you will, but it's not really ideal if you do want to hit, you know, vertical. Okay, and our last test is going to be the Great Sword. So yep, two-handed. That looks cool. So how this is actually work, let's kind of see. So it's already big. Oh no, there you go. So left key is gonna be a small. So let's try out the small. Okay, pretty slow attack, right? But a lot of damage though, because it's two-handed, right? Have that, and the left click is just gonna be that. Wow. Cool, kind of like a one-hitter. Yeah, one hit essentially. Whew. Yeah, one hit. What do we hold? So you can actually hold as well, and you can charge up 4 times as well. Wow, yeah. The range on this is kind of good as well. So I'm right over here. Got my enemy targeted. Yeah. I think I could even go further, but I really don't know. Like, I have personally used this in Great Sword, and I don't find this one to be as effective because it hits slow. It hit really slow, and that was like a Grand Slam attack, if you will. So this one, I think you can be anywhere. If you have your enemy targeted, it's gonna slam on them. So that's cool. Yeah, that's nice, but yeah, the Great Sword, I'm not really feeling it. definitely not feeling it. Alright, so now that we have tested out all the melee weapon, what is my go-to and how would I rank them now? So Saber is going to be number one, I think, just being the most generic, just a fairly versatile melee weapon to use. I think it gotta be one. Number two, I think, will be a lance. I like the range that it has. Unfortunately, it does not have the vertical that we all want, but I still feel like having that range definitely does save you from time when your break meter is about to go off or your hit count is about to go off. Having that, giving you that coverage is definitely really excellent. And up next, we have the Twin Blade. Having that trolley attack, I think a lot of people actually enjoy that one. Being able to rack up a lot of the hit points, but the downside to that is you're not getting enough break, so you are having one over the other, so you do have that. And then coming in at number 4, I think I will probably go with the axe actually. So coming in at number 4, I think I'll actually give it to the whip. I think whip is actually, utility wise, it's actually not that bad. You do have a covering wide area. You have kind of like that summon feature where you can grab onto your enemy, pull them to you. So you kind of have like a second grappler in a way. So it's actually not too bad, but you cannot grapple someone that's from vertical range. It's only on that horizontal plane. So it's not really the best in a sense. And coming in at 5, I'll give it to the melee. I think the melee is good. It's pretty fast, pretty swifty. I like that one actually. Coming in at 6, it's gonna be the axe. I don't like the charging up. The charging up, I never know why you would need it. I just don't know. And yes, just overall not my take on it. And lastly, we have the great sword. Great sword, too slow. It's not pretty reliable. So. And yeah, that's gonna be my ranking of all of the 7 melee weapons. So do definitely let me know you guys' opinion on which one you guys most often use. For me, that's just kind of my take on it, but I definitely would like to hear what you guys have in mind. So with that said, that's gonna be it for me, and I'll be catching you guys all on the next one.